Welcome to the Story of Everyman. Tonight I have a special guest named Adam Smith. He's a local barber here in Longview, Texas. Welcome, Adam.
Thank you for having me, John.
How old are you?
I'll be 47 in September.
47 years old. Where were you born at?
I was born in Eugene, Oregon. Man, when I was about 9 months old, my real dad, he committed suicide. And so my mom was left with two twin babies, my sister and I, and an older brother who was 6. And she was from California. So she took her babies and moved to Oceanside, California.
She moved from Oregon to
Oceanside. Yeah, and so that's really where I was raised. I lived in Huntington Beach, Los Angeles County until I was about 15.
Okay.
Until we moved out here to East Texas.
So you would consider yourself partially Californian?
No, not anymore. No, I don't even tell most people that. I'm a Texan, through and through. I've been here way longer than anywhere else. So
the other sibling that's are they younger or older?
So I have a twin sister who's a minute younger,
right,
and then an older brother who's 6 years older.
6 years older.
6 years older. Yeah.
So he was. Did he ever talk about your biological father and how he went through dealing with that?
Not really. Okay. I mean, my older brother, bless his heart, but he lives in Colorado for a reason. We just smoke our problems away up there.
Yeah.
And so that's exactly what he's doing.
Okay.
Yeah, he's growing and smoking his problems away.
All right.
And so,
growing up to, let's just talk a little bit about getting to 15 years old.
Sure.
Did you even see your mom dealing with your biological father's passing as you grew up?
Yes.
Okay.
But dealing with it in the form of an addiction. Yeah. So before I was 2, she married my stepdad. I'll say up front, my mom, she loved me and her kids the best she could. Okay. But it was a pretty rough childhood. Okay. Yeah, they were heroin addicts. Okay. And I mean, they banged it, and it was on. And being that age in California, pretty poor, drug addicted parents, white. Mm-hmm. It was different.
I did not expect that to be the story. I was expecting it.
That's where it starts, bro. That's not where it ends, but that's where it starts. Yeah.
I was expecting the completely opposite.
And seeing people that know me now, they're like, "What?
Yeah,
you've done what?
Yeah,
But that's the power of Christ."
Yeah. So tell me about through Adam's eyes, growing up as a child and seeing this occur.
I would say monkey see, monkey do. And because what I saw going on around me, I just dived in. I started using drugs at the age of 12. Okay. Started smoking marijuana and taking acid. We were in California, so those two were really the drug of choice. Okay. Started drinking a little bit and just kind of went from there.
There's always there's always a catalytic moment where a person starts to use, or their first time use. Do you remember the very first time you used?
I do.
Tell me about that day.
That time, so it was my brother was watching me. I'm not sure where my twin sister was, but I remember it was my brother, his girlfriend, and myself, and he busted out a bong. Mm-hmm. He said, "Here, hit this," and I was 12, and I did. That was the first time I ever.
You were just hanging out with him?
Just hanging out. Okay. I think I was inside watching a movie, and he lived in the garage. Yeah, he just brought it inside. He said, "Here you go, smoke this."
What was that first situation for you, or how that first use? What was that for you?
That first high, it messed me up. Yeah. Yeah, you would think it messed me up so bad I'd never do it again. Yeah. But that's not how it went down.
Okay. Yeah. So you come off of it. Mm-hmm. Did you want to do it again, or did he offer it again?
That I don't remember.
Okay. Just remember the first one. I know that as in my experience, they always remember. You'll always remember the first one.
Yeah, the first time I smoked, the first time I took pills, the first time I did meth, the first time I cooked meth, the first time I did cocaine, first time I did heroin. You can remember all those. You might not remember anything after that, yes. But you can remember that.
The first ones, yes. Yeah. I don't know what I think it's. I don't know. I can't. And even in my professional opinion, I don't know what causes that.
I think it's such a prolific change in the individual's life. Yeah. Like for me, like I was just a 12-year-old kid, just being a 12-year-old kid. But like when I smoked that for the first time out of that bong, it instantly changed me. And it completely changed my mindset from that moment on.
When he said, "Hit this bong," why did you do it?
Because he was.
Kind of like just
just hanging out.
My brothers, yeah.
Yeah, it's my
confident.
brothers doing it. My parents are doing it.
So let's do it. Yeah.
Let's do it.
All
Yeah.
right. How was this in reference to school? How was school, or how were you doing in school?
So we went to a different school every year of my life.
Mm-hmm.
Every year we changed schools. So school was pretty much a joke.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I was a class clown, obviously, you know, just seeking that attention,
Yeah.
not getting it at home like I needed to as much. So I sought it wherever I could.
Mm-hmm.
And that, you know, when you spend that much time acting out and just being a clown, you know, you don't really have too much time to make real relationships. You don't have enough time to really study, you know, so school was kind of a joke, honestly.
Up to this point, how was your relationship with your mother? If you know, how would you describe that?
Man, it was good. You know, Mama always loved me. She, like I said before, she did the best she could. I mean, I remember as a child growing up living in a garage, living at friends' houses, living in little
As a
campers.
family unit.
As a family unit. Yeah, that's 5 people jumping around.
Yeah.
And but you know, it's the norm. You know, I can still remember watching a Star Wars movie in a garage with my parents sitting in the bed eating popcorn, and my twin and I and my older brother sitting on a rug in a garage watching a TV, watching a Star Wars movie. And it was just the norm. You know, it's how we did it.
During this time frame, did you ever have a conversation with your twin sisters where either one of you were like, when we grow up, we're going to do something different? Or did that never occur at that moment, at that time?
That conversation never took place between us, but knowing my sister, she made that. That's not the way I'm going to live. That's not the way I'm going to raise my kids. My twin sister, she's complete square. She's just wonderful.
Yeah.
She's never done she's might have drank or something like that, but she's always did really good in school and just, you know, really stand-up individual.
Other than this, how are you dealing with having a male role model in your life?
So my stepdad, you know, he was always my dad.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like I said, I think they got married when I was around 2. And so that's really the only dad I knew. I didn't know my real father. You know, he passed away way too young for me to remember him. But honestly, and I hate to put it like this, but, you know, stepdad, he was a monster.
Mm-hmm.
He was really, really rough.
He ruled the house with an iron hand?
Man, he ruled the house, and he didn't care for us. He didn't care for my mom's kids. He put up with us.
Yeah.
But he didn't care for us. And we knew that we were not his kids from day one.
Did he have any other children?
No. And I think that was the main thing. He never had any other kids, and I think there was some spite because of it towards me, my brother, and my sister, you know.
Did he ever take that out on you guys?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
All the time?
oh yeah. That's just what it was, yeah.
Okay. If Kevin were sitting here, what would you tell Kevin?
Oh, same thing I told him on his deathbed. I forgive you and I love you.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I think he raised me the way that he was raised.
Mm-hmm.
He raised me the best way he could. Mm-hmm. Yeah, no unforgiveness there whatsoever. I mean,
He didn't?
I don't.
Oh, okay.
I don't have any unforgiveness. Yeah, I mean, they're completely forgiven, but from me, I mean, I think they did the best they could with what they knew.
Did he change his life towards the end of his life?
Nah, he drank himself to death.
Okay.
Yeah, not really.
All right. And your mom, like, they stayed married up until...
They stayed married. They got divorced once and got remarried.
Okay.
Yeah, I moved to Arkansas my junior year and came back. While I was gone, they got a divorce. I came back, and like a year after that, they got married.
Mm.
Now, when I say they didn't clean up, like they stopped doing heroin.
Okay.
But they moved to other stuff. You know, my dad became a really bad alcoholic. Mom turned from heroin and stuff to smoking pot and taking pills.
Okay.
You know, so they kind of just traded addictions.
Okay.
Yeah, which was a little easier going than heroin. So yeah, they changed somewhat.
Yeah. They couldn't let it go all the way.
They couldn't let it go all the way.
Okay. So you were at 13 this occurs. You said you used several other substances. Which one was the hardest substance you've ever used? Which one really affected your life?
Meth.
Okay. How old were you when you started using meth?
The first time I tried it, I was in high school.
Okay.
But when I started cooking it, that was 2007.
Uh-huh.
So I was in late 20s.
Okay.
Yeah.
You were already using it by then.
Yeah, I was snorting it, smoking a little bit. But when I started cooking it, I started shooting it. and that's a whole nother animal right there. Yeah.
What about the first time you used it? Tell me about the first time you used meth, the situation, how you ended up doing it.
I was with some friends from high school.
Okay.
We skipped class. We skipped school one day, and one of my friends, I won't say his name,
Okay.
but the other individual that was going to be here, he would know him real well.
Yeah.
We'll just leave it at that. And he took some out, and we all just kind of sat around and snorted it and ate it. And
So you moved on. At some point, you started cooking it. Was it already downslide from starting to use it to cooking it? Was your life already taking a downslide?
oh yeah, I've already been to prison twice at that point. Yeah.
What were the two charges?
The first two were burglary of a building, but two separate times.
Okay. Yeah. Was it to support the addiction?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I was never really. I got caught with drugs once. The very last time I got arrested, but the other times were just trying to get money.
Yeah.
Like I finished my criminal career with 16 misdemeanor convictions and 4 felony convictions.
Okay.
Crazy.
Wow.
And so,
All these in California up to this point.
no, this
You
is
were already
all
in
here,
Texas?
bro. This is Gray County.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's what's so crazy about doing the prayer with our mayor.
Yeah. He said he did a prayer with Kristen.
Yeah, January 1st, she was doing a prayer at the Gray County steps. I was one of the pastors there praying, and like I've walked into that courthouse like 19 times to go to court.
Yeah.
You know, now the Lord has me out in front praying for people.
Yeah.
Absolutely amazing what He can do.
So that was already occurring here in Gray County.
Yeah, so I never really got in trouble in California.
Okay.
Yeah, or Arkansas.
So you were using over there, but you just hadn't gotten caught or anything.
Nothing at all. Not till I didn't go to jail till I was 18.
Okay. The first burglary, were you already cooking at that time?
No.
Okay. Were you using meth?
I've used it. It was more pills at that point, more Xanax.
Okay. Did you even think about law enforcement up to that point, or a criminal career? Did you even think that was something in your mind?
Not at all. And I really think, like in schools, they need to have some kind of class. So I remember the first time I bonded out. I was in Gray County for a felony, and I bonded out, and I went and visited my lawyer while I was out on bond.
Right.
And up to this point, I've only had probation. And I go and I talk to my lawyer. I was like, okay, so what's this looking at? I just figured some more probation.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, they're offering you 20 months. I said, 20 months of what?
Yeah.
He said, 20 months of prison time. I was like, no, we're going to do probation. He's like, no. He said, they're not going to give you probation, Adam.
Yeah.
You've messed up so many times. And I think they should have some kind of criminal law class that lets students know, hey, you do this crime, this is what you can get.
Right.
You do this crime, this is what you can get. And when you start putting 10 years on a robbery, or you start putting 5 years on a burglary, or whatever the 30 years on your third DWI, whatever the case may be, I think kids might look at it like, whoa.
When Adam thinks back, do you think that would have affected your decisions? If you knew that you were going to get time non-negotiable, would that have affected your decisions or no?
I don't know.
What did you think when this loss of self-power, like you're going to do what the law says now, not what Adam wants to get? How did you take that?
Not good. I know I had a court.
Were you angry?
Man, I was. Well, but with that mentality, I was already like, whatever.
Yeah.
So now it's really whatever.
Yeah.
I had 3 months of freedom. So let's see what happens in 3 months. But yeah, I mean, I knew I was going in front of Judge Curry, and that was that. Yeah, he didn't play.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's gonna lock you up.
Okay.
You sit in front of Judge Curry, you're gone.
Oh. So you had some time to sit down and say, okay, when I'm not doing what I'm supposed to do, I really don't have the power over my life that I think I do. All right. So you get out. Tell me about Adam whenever he gets out.
When I got out of the first time,
Yeah.
at that point, my parents moved to Cedar Creek.
Okay.
And when I got out of prison, I moved out there with them. And I don't know if it's the meth capital of the world, but it's pretty close.
Okay.
And so, of course, I was sober for a couple months,
Yeah.
but I found people in the wrong place at the wrong time. And
Coming out, were you intent, though? Were you intent, like, I'm going to try to do something different?
not really, man.
Okay.
I was 23. I was hard-headed. I was in there starting riots and fighting. And so when I came out, I was a little more calm just because I was locked up for so
Yeah.
long. But the thing what people don't understand about doing time
Uh-huh.
is so when you get locked up and you go in time, and I don't care if it's for a year
Uh-huh.
or 10 years,
Right.
like when you get out, it's like the very next day from when you got locked up.
Right. There's not a
There's no maturity, there's no
Yeah.
growth.
Okay.
Because it's really the same day every single day.
Mm-hmm.
And then so when you get out the next day, it's like the next day from when you get locked up, but everything's different.
What year was this? The first one?
That would have been 2005.
2005. Okay.
And so you get out, and everyone's different except for you.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, well, where's my girlfriend I had?
Yeah.
You know, the people that I used to know aren't around me anymore.
You realize time doesn't stop for you.
It doesn't stop for you. And then, so what do I do with this new time?
Yeah.
You know,
And what did you do in prison? Did you learn anything? Like, did you have any opportunity to get into stuff to learn? You know.
I took an electrical class, but being
No,
a felon,
I was just saying though, like during, like just in general, like a person.
so you can.
Yeah.
It's there.
Yeah.
I just didn't want it then.
Yeah.
I didn't want it the first 3 times.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you get out, you go live with your parents, you jump right back into it, and that's I guess that's how you end up with the second one.
Yes. Yeah. Just a next like year and a half of just hitting licks
Yeah.
and selling and getting high and having 100 jobs in between. And
What was the most during this time? Do you recall a situation where you were like, "Yeah, I'm about to die right now"? Like, whether it was a sale, a drug sale, or using, where you had literally thought, "This is it, man. Like, I messed up far enough."
so I remember one time I just got done cooking,
Mm-hmm.
and I took it to a lady. She was a nurse,
Mm-hmm.
and she said, "What's wrong with you? I can tell by looking at you, you're not right." I was like, "Well, I've been cooking meth for about a week." She was like, "Well, let me take your vitals." And it was like 210 over 110 or something. It was,
Oh,
yeah, about to be a stroke. She was like, "You're about to have a stroke." I was like, "Well, okay. I still got to go sell this dope, you know?" And she was like,
you told
"No."
her that?
Yeah. She was like, "No, you need to sit down." And she was a nurse, so she had some Valium. She gave me a Valium
Uh-huh.
and calmed down. And, you know, that was close
Right.
to death. There was a time, so that first felony I committed,
Uh-huh.
I was with a friend. And we were in his truck, and he jumped in the cab. And like I said, we were peeled out. And I jumped in the bed of his truck, and he ran from the police here in Longview for 45 minutes
With you in the bed, or
with me in the bed. And then we wrecked out in a culvert. And, like, tell me there's not a call on my life. I mean, at any time I should have been thrown out of that truck.
I was about to say, did you ever were there ever times where that truck hits up and you're like in air in the bed?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, many a times. I mean, he's running from the police. Like, he's on the loop.
That's a good long while to make from.
I mean,
from the 45
around
minutes.
Longview, he didn't even get out of Longview. I mean, insane.
Yeah. So they I guess the police, they found you in the bed.
Mhm.
All right.
Yeah, there's no getting out of that one. They had me dead to rights on that one, John. Yeah, that was it. There's no fighting that one in court. Yeah.
No, you could have just like, hey, I woke up in the bed.
This ain't my truck. Isn't that what they say when they find meth in their
Yeah.
pocket? Oh, this ain't my. Well, whose pants is that? It ain't my truck.
Oh man. Well, I'm glad you made it out. I'm glad, and I'm pretty sure
Amen.
there's other situations where you're like, yeah, I don't know how I did this. I don't know how I made it out.
Yeah, like I've had guns pulled on me, and I mean, yeah, there should have been many times I got shot and killed just being a horrible drug addict, you know.
Man. So, what are like some of the people that you feel like you've hurt during this time, where you think back and you're like, man, I really feel bad that I hurt this person.
You know, my family, my daughter.
Uh-huh.
I have a 23-year-old daughter. Love her, and you know, wasn't the daddy I should have been when she was younger. I am now, but at the beginning I wasn't. You know, my twin sister. You know, that's my person.
Yeah.
You know, my twin. And we, you know, we've been together since birth.
Are y'all interconnected like they say twins are?
Oh, we're tight.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and it's crazy because like my mom was a drug addict, so she was kind of. My mom was always kind of like my cool big sister.
Yeah.
And my sister was always like my mom.
Like the mother, yeah.
Yeah, they kind of swapped. But, you know, so I've been sober 13 years now.
Yeah.
So anything I've made amends
Yeah.
and come to peace and ask for forgiveness and, move past it now. So,
Are there people that haven't accepted your amends?
um, man, not off the top of my head. Yeah, I wouldn't say there is.
Yeah. So your sister, she made it out of this. At what point did she why off and say, you know what, I'm going this way? You keep, or was she like always there for you? Like,
Always
you've got to get this right.
Always there.
Yeah.
Come visit me in jail. Come to my court dates.
Did she send you money on your books?
She's put money on my books. The last time I got out of prison,
Yeah.
like 13 years ago, I had nothing.
Yeah.
Like I walked out of the penitentiary with an onion bag, with paperwork,
Yeah.
and some clothes on my back that my sister bought for me.
What was
And
what was
that's
the length of that prison stay?
That time it was supposed to be a year.
A year,
I ended up doing 10 months.
10 months.
Yeah.
That's not horribly bad.
No.
But it was enough to get you like figure stuff out.
Man, so I gave my life. So January 20, just real quick, when I gave my life to the Lord, January 27th, I'm driving to Kilgore.
Uh-huh.
I'm on 259. It's like 2 or 3 in the morning. I fall asleep at the wheel. I've been up for 2 years. I mean, just nonstop. And I fall asleep at the wheel and I total my truck, flip it. I mean, right before you get onto Stone Road, right there. And just flip it, crush it, trash it out. And man, they take me to jail for possession of a controlled substance, my second DWI, and some traffic tickets.
This is after the year stint, or the
This is 2012.
okay, 2012.
Yeah, so this is the last time I get arrested.
Okay.
This is the very last time. And like I'm on it hard, like I'm 160 pounds. I got track marks up and down both arms. I mean, I'm hauled out.
Right.
They take blood tests for my DWI, and it's going to come out with like heroin, coke, meth, any pill. I mean, I've been killing myself. And I come to February 1st, 2012, and I'm in Gray County.
No memory of anything in between.
Nothing.
Okay.
Nothing at all. I kind of remember vaguely crashing the truck,
Okay.
but that's about it.
Okay.
And I come to, and I'm like hitting the button like, this is Smith, what am I in for? And so they read off all these charges.
Was there when you came to? How quickly did law enforcement show up,
Oh, they were,
or were they waiting?
I didn't come to till like 5 days later.
Okay.
Yeah,
I was
already
just wondering,
in jail.
like, I thought they. Oh, you were in jail.
I was already in jail, bro. Yeah. So I wrecked my truck at January 27th of 2012 at like 2 in the morning. Wrecked it completely. And they arrested me and took me to jail. And I'm out of it. Like I go through detox. I transfer to population and come to like 5 days later.
Okay.
Like man, my mugshots, it's like,
Wow.
it looked like,
But you weren't there. Like.
no, I wasn't there at all. And so when I wake up, I just, that's the moment I gave my life to the Lord, February 1st, 2012. And it's just been a complete.
Tell me about that moment. Like what occurred?
Okay, so I came to, and man, I know I'm about to go to prison for the 4th time. I'm 160 pounds. I haven't even seen my daughter in years. And I'm really just done with me. And I'm really thinking about ending my life. And before this time, I never went to church. The only time I ever went to church was in jail. And
that was probably because you had to, or just been.
just to get out of the cell.
Just get out of the
Yeah,
cell.
now I find out it was the Lord drawing me to
Yeah.
in there. I don't know what it was then. But, and so I come to and I throw that blanket over my face and I remember crying, out to the Lord. I'm like, man, if you are real, what those preacher men say you are, if you really are God, I'll give you my life right now, my life to you right now. And that's it. I'm done living this life. And like I woke up the next morning and I was a changed man.
Cool.
Yeah.
And so that was a time where you did how long in jail?
So that time, so it was time for me to do rehab. Okay. I'm telling Jesus now. I'm saved. I've been saved for about a month, and now I'm telling God what He needs to do for my life.
Yeah.
We don't ever do that, but sometimes we get ahead of God and let Him know. So I'm like, I got to do rehab. I've never done rehab. I need to get off these drugs. And so my lawyer comes and visits me, a court-appointed lawyer, and she's got a cross on her ring. I'm like, oh, yeah. God's got me. We got lined up. And so we sit down, And just like that first lawyer, she said, all right, Mr. Smith, so what are we going to do? I was like, we're going to do rehab. I'm going to do about 9 months rehab, get out to a halfway house, and I'm out about a year. She's like, oh, no. She's like, you're going back to prison. I said, what? She's like, yeah. She said, Adam, you're going back to prison.
Very matter of fact.
Yeah. I was like, but I need rehab. She's like, you probably do need rehab, but they're not sending you there. They're sending you to prison. And sure enough, so I went to Bradshaw State Jail.
Yeah.
I was supposed to do a year.
Mm-hmm.
I did 10 months, but the Lord put me in a Celebrate Recovery dorm. And so I gave my life to Jesus, in county. And this is now in April, so it's a couple months have passed. I caught chain, went to Bradshaw. I get out of detox. I get put in the Celebrate Recovery dorm. And the first group we have, I've never done rehab. I've never done anything like that in my life, just a hardcore drug addict for 20 years straight. Mm-hmm. And they're doing a small group, and I remember sitting back, John, listening to these guys' story. And as they talked, I was like, man, that kind of sounds like my story.
Yeah.
And the more I was like, man, that sounds like my story. I was like, well, maybe I'm not the only one going through this.
Yep.
And when I tell you, a passion and a fire started inside of me to start helping other men and addiction and going through the life I've lived, it started right there that day in that room. It was in C dorm in the multi-purpose room.
Yeah.
And I mean, it just started, the Lord started showing me, this is what I want you to do, Adam. You said you're going to give your life to me, so this is what I want you to do. And so I've just started catching fire from that point on.
Yeah. Do they ever ask you to go back to talk?
To the prison?
Yeah.
Man, I go twice a month.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I've been doing prison ministry for 10 years.
Okay.
I was an inmate for 5.
Yeah.
So I've doubled the time as a volunteer chaplain now. Yes. So last summer I went to Bradshaw. This is a great story, man. So last summer I went to Bradshaw, and one of my friends, he asked me to just come and, kind of stir everybody up, get everyone excited in class. So I gave my testimony somewhat and preached and taught a little bit, and it was really, really good time. Power of the Lord came in that room and prayed for people. And at the end, this inmate walks up.
Yeah.
And he says, preacher, what's your first name? I said, my first name's Adam. He said, do I look familiar? I was like, yeah, your name's John Walker. We used to cook meth together.
You recognize him?
Yeah, and he looked back at me and he said, you don't look the same.
Wow.
He said, Adam, you're up there, and I know your voice, but you don't look the same no more. I said, did you hear my story, man? I'm not the same no more.
Yeah.
And that's the first time I've ever had anyone just marvel. Look at what the Lord has done.
Yeah.
And that, his heart was changed at that point. He's like, man, maybe his life doesn't have to be how he thought it was.
Have you had the opportunity to keep up with him?
No, I haven't seen John since.
Okay.
I haven't been back to Bradshaw.
Okay.
Yeah, so I go to a place called East Texas Treatment Facility.
That's where I used to work.
Okay, yeah, so I go with another guy. Well, I go with a group of guys. We go the first and third Monday of the month.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's good. Yeah, there's a lot of good guys trying to do good stuff in there.
There is. Yeah, they're trying, man. Yeah.
That's good. That's good to hear. So, at what point during this entire time do you find a partner?
My wife? Mm-hmm. So I was working at a restaurant when I was going to school to be a barber.
Okay.
I was working at a restaurant in Marshall called the Pizzeria. Mm-hmm. They own Pietro's down here in Longview.
Yeah.
They have a really nice one in Marshall, too.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, really nice. And I kind of helped Joseph open it, and he's awesome, just wonderful guy. But
I think I read or heard somewhere that you used to work for them. Did you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was a waiter.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I waited tables with them for about a year.
Over in Marshall.
In Marshall.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I used to go to this one a lot, and I was like, I don't recognize him ever being.
Yeah, I never worked. Now I know Steven and Mama Rose and Pietro and all them, but yeah, Joseph's my guy. The older brother runs the one in Marshall.
Okay.
And so my wife's a teacher, and she came in with a group of teachers, and she left her phone number on the receipt. That was it.
That was it.
Yeah.
Okay.
A beautiful Puerto Rican woman. That was it. Now I had my daughter.
Now you had your daughter, okay, because maybe that's
me
why
and her mom never got married.
Okay. Yeah. Do you keep in contact with her at all?
With
the mother of your child?
Not really.
Not really.
Yeah.
Okay. And that was that just a situation where you ended up having a child with somebody through your lifestyle?
Right.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
You said there were a lot of years where you didn't see your daughter. Tell me about coming back into her life and what was that like?
Man, it was tough. So when I got out of prison, so I went to a halfway house when I got out.
Yeah.
So real quick. So the first time I ever got locked up, I did 2 months on a VOP, a violation of probation.
Right.
And this gang member, I got into a fight with a gang member, and the gang member really messed me up. Messed me up so bad, they had to take me to the hospital.
Right.
My mom was a nurse, a CNA at that time, and she saw me.
Your
And-
mom who was using?
Yeah. Like I said, at one point she just became on pills.
Okay, but then, so she got
Somewhat clean.
a good. Yeah. Okay.
And she got a good, stable job. And like my mom, she was the sweetest thing you ever meet in your life. I mean, just wonderful. Just had an addiction, man.
Okay.
But so anyway, so really, really rough time.
Okay.
So when I go to prison this last time, I gave my life to the Lord. I said, Lord, I don't want to go back and move in with my parents. I don't want to come back to Longview. That's where I did all my messing up. But I don't know where to go. And so another individual from that same gang that I got into it all those years ago, it's a Hispanic gang, came up to me and he said, Adam, will you go to church with me? I was like, man, I don't go to church here no more. It's not about the Lord. I just do my Bible study here. And he's like, man, I really want to go to church. And I don't want to go by myself. I was like, well, ask one of your homeboys, man. He's like, man, they won't go. I was like, all right, I'll go with you to church. So I went back. To church that one night. And it was like a Sunday night. And there was this man named Stony Gatewood up there giving his testimony. He'd been to Bradshaw 4 times like me. He gave his life to the Lord. He got out, went to this program. And that was his first night coming back to share his testimony. And as he's teaching it, the Lord spoke to me. He said, that's where you're going to go. And so when I got out, I went to Marshall to a program called My Brother's Keeper.
Right.
And I was there for about 6 months. And all of a sudden I got a letter from my daughter. And on it, it's...
While you were in the halfway house over there?
I was in the halfway house, yeah. I've been out about 6 months at this time.
Was that the first letter you'd gotten in? Mm-hmm. How long was it before? Like, how long had it been?
It probably a couple of years.
Okay.
I might have talked to her mom a few times, but I was just so far out there. Yeah. There was no point in seeing her, and just a really bad deal. But, like, she wrote me a letter, and Trin, she was probably 10 at the time. She's 23 now.
But she was 10 when she wrote the letter.
Mm-hmm. And it said something like, Dad, if you can stay out of prison for a year, I think I want you back in my life, and I think you'll be a good dad if you try hard. And just a daughter loving her dad, and I mean, it's just covered in tears. I still have it, the paper soaked.
I was going to ask you, do you still have it?
Oh, yeah. But so that was the next time that I even heard from her. But you know what? God's just good. Maybe the course of a month or two, I'd start coming down here on the weekends. My twin sister would come pick me up from the halfway house and bring me here. Then we'd pick up my daughter. Yeah. And we start building that bond again, that relationship, And
you were feeling a lot better. Like you had this this fire that you and movement in you that you had this road you were on. So
yes,
you were on it, man.
Yes, sir.
Was there I know there has to be, like, were people calling you like, hey man, let's go do this again. I remember.
Okay, so
how did you deal with that?
So the last time I had an urge to use.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, this was it.
Yeah.
Like January, it was New Year's Eve, 2014.
Okay.
And I was working at a place called Master Woodcraft in Marshall, and I was working a night shift. It was way before I'm in school to cut hair or anything like that. And I'm working this night shift, and we got off early, and I got a paycheck. And that old enemy, he starts talking. He's like, he said, it's New Year's.
Yeah.
You know where all your homeboys are at. You can go down there for the night, do what you want to do, and come back, and no one will ever know.
That's always the key phrase. No one will ever know.
No one will ever know.
Yeah.
And John, I went back to the program. I was graduated by now, but I moved downstairs in my own little apartment, and I took a shower and I got dressed to go out. And I reached for the...
Oh, you were headed.
I was out, bro.
Oh, you were going.
I was like, I know where they're at. I know what they're doing. Let's go.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, just crazy, right? It's
Yeah.
been 3 years since I've done anything. And I grabbed that front door, And the Holy Spirit spoke to me. He said, if you walk out that front door, you'll never walk back in.
Oh, man.
And so, man, that night, like, I was up all night on my knees crying out, yelling at the devil, yelling at God, help me, praying through the night. But you know what, John? We prayed through that night.
Yeah.
And I woke up the next morning sober.
And still had that paycheck.
Still had that money. Didn't owe half of it to anybody else. I still had it,
Dude, that's amazing. That's amazing.
That was it. That was the last time.
Yeah.
I mean, I've had people over the years, not recently, but hit me up. Hey, Adam, how's it going? What's up, you crazy?
Yeah,
What you up to? I'm like, serving Jesus. I don't hear nothing else. Crickets, bro. Like they won't. I'm like, hey, you doing okay? Nothing. They won't even write back no more. I'm like, well, one day they'll write back. Hopefully, I don't know.
That's pretty amazing. That's pretty amazing. Going back to that, like that night, that last night that you had the urge, it's so interesting how immediate and how quick that day that you were in your covers
Sure
takes the back seat.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
Like
amen. Yeah.
And I'm like, you're more the exception than the rule. Like there are so many people that don't make that.
Yeah.
And that's just crazy. Like how that happens. But it's always good to hear that into the story.
It happens.
Yeah.
It happens. The Bible says, the anointing will destroy the yoke.
Yeah.
And God's anointing has destroyed the yoke of my life, that drug addiction. Like, I've been so blessed. I haven't relapsed. I never smoked another cigarette. I've never drank a beer. I mean, nothing in over 13 years now.
Yeah.
And I'm talking about, like, going from cooking meth and shooting it to...
Yeah.
I mean, it has to be God.
Yeah.
That's all it can be, is the Holy Spirit working.
Did your cooking days, did they ever get dangerous?
Yeah.
Where you could have blown up or something?
Yeah, I should have been blown up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
I'm glad you made it through that.
Yeah, amen.
I'm
Me
glad
too.
you did.
Thank you.
You met your wife. Do you have any children with her?
Not with her, no.
Okay. How long have y'all been married?
We'll celebrate 8 years in November.
8 years? Okay. Are you done? Are you done with children?
Yeah, man. I'll be 47, bro. I'm ready for grandkids.
Yeah.
Me and my daughter, we talked about that the other day. She's like, just hold on, Dad. Just hold up. We'll get there eventually.
Do you feel 47?
No,
No.
man. I've done so much time. I feel like a pickle. I've been preserved for years and years, man.
Yeah.
So.
How much weight did you gain after you started getting better?
Man, probably the most I've weighed is 220. So from 160 to 220. I'm 215 right now.
Okay.
So.
How did you end up in the career that you're in now? And so you're a barber.
Mm-hmm.
How did you get into that?
So I learned to cut hair while I was in county, like years and years ago, and not really good, just kind of have an understanding.
Were you hustling that?
A little bit.
Yeah.
In there, it's a different hustle. You know, in there you got to cut with your shoes on. Because if they don't like the haircut, you know what time it is.
Yeah.
You know?
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah. Oh,
I didn't
yeah.
know that. Okay.
Yeah, it is what it is,
that.
man. Yeah. It's,
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
And so when I got out, I went to that halfway house. And, we're all inmates.
Yeah.
We're all broke. And I remember, man, one of the volunteers there, he passed away, but his name was Kirk Downing. Just awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome, man. And I was like, hey, Kirk, I need to get a haircut. I've been out for like a week. He's like, all right, I'll take you. So he takes me. He's like, all right, here we are. It was a March like Supercuts or something. Go in there, get a haircut. I was like, I don't have any money. He's like, you don't have any money? I was like, no, I just got out of prison. I don't have anything. Yeah. He's like, oh, well, hold on a second. And we ran to the ATM, and he gave me $20. He's like, go get a haircut, man. Just tell him to keep the change, whatever it is. And, what he showed me right there just absolutely blew me away. And I knew I wanted to help people on that type of level.
Yeah.
Obviously, I couldn't because I didn't have $20 for myself.
Yeah.
I didn't have $20 to give away. So what I started doing...
It gave you a vision.
It gave me a vision.
Yeah.
And I started cutting everybody's hair there. So they wouldn't have to ask anyone for money to go get a haircut.
Oh, okay.
And so actually the dude that I was cutting in the program, his name is James Metcalf.
Uh-huh.
And I actually just cut his hair last Friday.
That name sounds familiar. I don't know why.
He's from Linden.
Okay.
But just a good friend. But anyway, so I finished cutting his hair, and I'm in the kitchen cleaning my clippers, and the Lord spoke to me. He's like, this is what I want you to do. I was like, you want me to cut some hair? Like, that's going to be your career. I said, okay, let's do it. And so about a year later, I got into school for it, and been doing it about 10 years now.
Oh, man, that's a long time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been doing it for a while.
That's a good while. Have you always had this spot, or did you just get to this spot?
No, I started off at Bernardo's barbershop. I worked with Bernardo for about a year.
Okay.
Then I moved to Kevin's barbershop for about a year. And then I opened up my own place, kind of across the loop from where I'm at now.
Okay.
And I worked there for about 4.
Okay.
And then I took a pastoralship at a church called Life Point.
Okay.
And they own Parkway Gym.
Yeah.
And so I took my barbershop and moved into the back part. About a year and a half, I stepped down from the pastoralship. And so it's time for me to move the barbershop. And after a whole bunch of prayer and just looking, the Lord opened that place up for me. So I've been there since October.
Okay. And you're loving it. I'm assuming you love it.
Oh, it's great, man. I got me, 3 barbers, and a tattoo artist.
I really don't have any reason to go in there, so that's why I haven't gone. So.
Well, that was going to be my question. Tell me that.
It's doing pretty well.
Man, I think so. So my business, man, I've been really blessed. Like I haven't took on a new client in like 2 years.
Okay.
The only time I take on a client is if someone moves away.
Okay.
And then I'll fill that. But like I've done appointment only for years now. Yeah. And so because of that clientele, it's really helped this barbershop grow. And the other barbers with me, Rafa, he's been with me for about 2 years. And he's really grown in those 2 years. Anyone that would come in, I couldn't get to, so I just pushed him to Rafa. And then Rafa, of course, with his own clientele, just the two coming together.
Yeah.
He's done great. And then we brought another young guy in, Caden, about a month into it. Caden's doing really good. You know, he's starting to get busier.
Okay.
And then Emily, man, she's a beast.
Yeah.
Emily's awesome.
I want to, take a moment to really give her
Yeah.
a big kudos because it takes a lot of balls to just like, hey, you need to go get this guy on your podcast.
Yeah.
The owner, instead of like her just trying to like do her
own
and
thing.
And like he has a great story and to do it like not just say, hey, you should, like to go to you and say, hey, you should do this. Like I think that's pretty
Emily's about it.
Yeah.
And she's going to make a great career for her. She's young. She's my daughter's age.
Yeah.
She's 23 too.
That's impressive. I was like, man, that's pretty cool.
She's the type. She has an idea and she'll go get it.
Yeah.
Like the other Monday, a couple Mondays ago, she was there just doing walk-ins all day. Nobody came in.
Yeah.
At 4 o'clock, she's like, all right, Adam, I think I'm going to take off. I was like, all right, girl, go. Go.
Yeah.
As soon as she's getting out of the parking lot, a walk-in comes walking in, and I'm talking to this dude. He's like, do you got time? And I get a text message from her. Is this a walk-in?
Yeah.
And I just type back, yes, in the middle of our conversation. And while I'm talking to this guy, I see
right
her
back
car
in.
backing up into the parking lot. She's like, I got time. She runs. I was like,
That's a hustle,
that's how
right?
you do it
Yeah.
right there. Yeah, that's how you do it.
Was there a particular like way that you hired the extras in your deal, or were you just like,
So
were you
Rolf-
looking for something in particular?
Yeah, because I had a barber before her,
Uh-huh.
and he didn't last but 4 days.
Well, in general, like with the others as well. Like, was there a particular type of person you wanted in your barbershop?
I wouldn't say particular,
Uh-huh.
family oriented for sure.
Uh-huh.
We're pretty laid back.
Yeah.
They have to mix well. Like how the barbershop's set up, I have my own room, and then there's 3 barbers together, and then John, the tattoo artist.
Yeah.
And so the 3 really need to come together and be,
Right.
friendly, and they are. So, like the guy I had in there before M, I watched him for about 4 days, and it was not a good mix.
Yeah.
I was like, sorry.
Like you
man.
knew right away.
Yeah, and I was trying to give him the benefit of the doubt, just try to give him time. But after a few more days, some things happen. I'm like, sorry, man, it's just not going to work out. I got to, Ralph was my guy.
Yeah.
He's my number one.
Yeah.
Caden's my young man. I got to watch out for Caden. and Emily, she fits in great, man.
Yeah.
She's wonderful.
That's really cool. Yeah. You also mentioned when we talked, John, the tattoo artist. How did a tattoo artist come to be in your?
So I had that room set up for a nail tech and an esthetician, and I couldn't get anyone to bite. Nobody wanted to come do those things.
Okay.
And so I was praying, Lord, what else?
Yeah.
What else will fit in a barbershop? And he said, tattoo artist. I said,
That's different. It's a little different.
A little different, and you got to find the right one. I'm not sure about his history in the tattoo business. I know he's been doing it, I think, 15 years.
Yeah.
Super professional guy.
Uh-huh.
He married, got a kid. John comes in and does his couple tattoos. We'll sit there and talk some gospel for a while, and then he'll take off.
Nice.
Really laid back, professional guy.
And you said is it you or Emily said that he has a pretty good story? I think it was you.
To me, yeah, he does. He's got a great story. Yeah.
and I'm hoping that I can get with him to work on that.
Most definitely, yeah.
So I'm excited about that. Since finding Jesus, getting getting with your wife, what has life been like now for Adam?
Every year is better than the last.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not perfect,
Yeah.
but it's better.
What are some key things that have occurred since you've been, let's say, since you've been married?
Since I've been married, Puerto Rico,
Yeah.
a lot. I go down there to meet her family, and that's really broadened my mind.
Okay, so she's Puerto Rican?
She's Puerto Rican,
Okay.
yeah. Yeah, she's been in the States. If we've been together 9, she's probably been in the States like 10 years.
Okay.
As far as marriage goes, it's really good. I do my best to be a good husband.
Yeah.
She does her best to be a good wife.
Yeah. That's great.
Other than that, it's been wonderful. The Lord gave me a vision of me preaching and her translating, and I knew she was the one.
Yeah.
She doesn't see that vision coming to pass, but it will, John.
Yeah.
It will. Yeah.
Okay. Do you ever see law enforcement officers that used to know you and y'all just talk wow, you're doing so much better?
Man, I have so many judges and lawyers and cops that I cut, and they just love me.
Yeah.
Because I really am what they're trying to achieve
Yes.
by arresting people.
Yes.
They don't want to just arrest people. They want to arrest people and let the system change them, and they never come back to have to be arrested.
Yeah.
I had Judge Bryan in one day,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, Judge,
Tim Bryan?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm back there cutting and say he married my wife and I.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and he's come and shared his testimony at a recovery group. I love the judge.
Yeah.
But I'm back there cutting his hair. I was like, man, this is so weird. He's like, what are you talking about? Just cut my hair. I'm like, no, I'm used to standing in front of you guys, not standing behind you guys. He's like, Adam, just cut my hair, man. Just cut my hair. I was like, yes, sir, will do. But yeah, I love it, man. It's wonderful, man.
Yeah.
Just being on this side of the, like when Judge Bryan was running for judge, I guess it was a couple years ago. Tina was still with us.
Mm-hmm.
But I walk in there. He invited me, my wife and I, to his fundraising thing over at the Reserve. And I walk in there, and the first person I see is Alfonso Charles. And that's the last judge to sentence me. And then I'm seeing all these other judges, and I walk up to the judge, and I give Judge Bryan a hug. I was like, I got to go. He's like, what's up? You okay? I was like, no, I'm not okay. There's way too many of y'all in this room. And he's like, Adam, I get it. I was like, no, you don't get it, Judge, but I'm still leaving. I'll see you on your next
You
haircut.
left?
Oh,
You
I was
didn't stay?
out.
Oh,
No, I was
come
out.
on,
No,
man.
it's too much, man. I was like getting cold sweats. I'm over here looking over my shoulder. Do I have a warrant out from 15 years ago, or what's going to happen right now? Oh, yeah, I was gone, man. Yeah, I love him, and it was cool hanging out, but it was time for me to go.
Oh, man. That's funny. How does it feel, though, now, these days, where you get pulled over and versus 15 years ago? Getting pulled over and you're good.
So my wife and I, we were going to one of my friends started a church in Gilmore, and we were a little late, and so I'm kind of rushing.
Uh-huh.
And my wife, she's always right. She said, you better slow down. There's going to be a state trooper around this corner. And I was like, oh, we'll be all right. And sure enough, I went around the corner. There's a state trooper. And he pulls us over, and he's like, where are you going? I was like, sir, you're not going to believe this, but we're late for church. He's like, man, let me see your license and insurance card. And so I give it to him, and he's like, all right, man, just slow it down. Just make it to church.
Yeah.
You're good. And he takes off. I'm like, wow, that's never happened. And my wife looks at me, she's like, what, you not getting a ticket?
Yeah.
I was like, babe, not going to jail. What are you talking about? I said, babe, you better realize who you're riding with. Good night.
Does she ever do you ever talk about how different your life is from what it was?
A little bit.
Yeah.
She always listens to me preach,
Yeah.
and so there's always some past in that preaching.
Yeah.
There's some things that she just doesn't need to know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I hear you. Yeah.
It just doesn't need, there's no necessity for it.
Absolutely. So you said your brother runs the other place in Marshall? I thought I heard you say that.
Pietro has 2 sons.
Oh.
The oldest brother runs.
Okay. I misheard you
the
then.
yeah.
I thought you said your brother.
No, my brother's in
Colorado, yeah. I was like, okay.
Yeah, Stephen runs the one in Longview, and Joseph runs the one in Marshall.
Are you and your brother on good terms, or just
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we went out there and visited him a couple summers ago,
Uh-huh.
and just hey, gave him a hug, spent a couple of hours. And I was like, all right, dude, we're gonna go get checked in at the Airbnb we rented Why don't you come over? I'll grill out for you and the family. He's like, all right, cool. And he calls me before he leaves his house. He's like, hey, man, you want me to bring some weed? I was like, what are you talking about, dude? I've been sober 10 years. I'm a pastor now. He's like, oh, no, I was just checking. I'm
just to double check.
Yeah, I'm like, no, leave that stuff at home, man. Don't bring it with you. We're just going to eat steaks. That's it. Maybe some potatoes. Nothing else, man. Just.
That is funny.
But yeah, no, we're cool. Yeah, we're.
That's good.
Yeah, my whole family, they support me, and they're wonderful. Yeah.
Have you ever told your sister how impactful her life was to you?
She knows.
She knows.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
What would you tell everybody else, like people that want to know, how impactful has she been to your life?
My sister?
Yeah.
Yeah, Amanda, she's been that one person I can rely on through my whole life.
No matter where you were.
With Jesus or without Jesus. Yeah, Amanda, that's always been my solid. She's yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's always been number one.
Is she married now?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's her husband's Tony. They've been married about 16 years. They have 2 boys. Not together. She has 2 boys with a prior marriage, and then Tony has a daughter with a prior marriage. They never had any kids together.
Has she ever been in a situation where like she's like mama, like I'm coming to get you, no matter how bad the situation was, like I'm gonna come get you?
Yeah, she has. You know,
you know what I mean? Like not afraid to walk into wherever she needs to get you.
She would. I don't think I ever put her in that position.
Okay.
If it was like that, I just wouldn't call her.
Oh, okay.
I'd get myself out.
Yeah.
Or I wouldn't get out at all.
Yeah.
You know, whatever. I mean, I'd always call her when I got locked up.
Yeah.
I need bail.
Yeah.
I need someone to pay my bail bond, you know. But, you know, it got to the point where I was so hauled out.
Yeah.
You know, like she would leave me food in her mailbox.
Oh, man.
Like I wasn't allowed to go inside her house anymore because I was just that far gone. But she's like, but Adam, I'll leave you some food in the mailbox. You can come by and get it.
Yeah. That's
I mean,
that's deep.
Yeah.
But that's your twin sister, though.
That's my twin.
Yeah.
You know, so I got a good story here. Probably about 15 years ago, actually when I'm cooking meth with that guy I was telling you about, I saw at Bradshaw last summer. Man, we finished a cook, and I'm really hauled out, and I'm broke and owe people money, and I just need to get out of town. And my parents still were living in Cedar Creek. This is in between my first and second time going to prison. And so I had like $20. I put $20 of gas in my truck, and I drove out to Cedar Creek. And by the time I got out there, it was 5 p.m. My mom's getting off work. I think she's working at Walmart at the time. And we're pulling in the driveway at the same time. And she's like shaking her head no. I'm like, what's going on with that? So I get out of my truck, and my mom's like, no, Adam, you can't stay here. I was like, what are you talking about? I'm always welcome at your house. She said, not anymore. She said, you've gotten to a place where I just can't help you anymore.
This is your mom?
This is my mom.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, she's like, I'm sorry, but you can't stay here. Me and your dad don't want you here. I said, well, I don't have any more money to leave. She said, here's $20, fill your truck up and get out. And so that was 15 years ago. And, you know, we always know our mom loves us.
Yeah.
But being a drug addict and an inmate, they're not proud of you.
Yeah.
There's no way. I don't care how you try to misconstrue it or justify it. They're not.
Yeah.
They're not proud of a drug addict. They're not proud of an inmate.
Yeah.
And so 2 years ago, my mom's dying of cancer. And she's at home in hospice care. And they say, Mrs. Collins, do we need to call you a reverend or a minister or a pastor to speak to you? And she looks up at me and she's like, no, there's my pastor right there. And at that moment, I knew my mom was proud of me. And, you know, only the Lord can take an individual from getting kicked out of their mom's house to being her pastor while she's dying on her bed. You know, and
she never said that before. Like she never told you that before.
Not really, not to that extent.
Not like that. Like
yeah,
directly,
not like that. Yeah, like no, that's my pastor right there.
The man who's going to send me to the Lord.
Yeah. And I ended up leading her to the Lord on her deathbed the night before she died.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
I mean, it's just the Lord, you know, it's just God. He's always got a plan.
Did you ever have a conversation with your sister where she told you, I don't know how I'm going to do life if you don't make it?
I don't know about that conversation.
No.
She's told me many times you're going to kill yourself.
Yeah.
I remember one time I went to her house and I hadn't seen her in a few months. And I mean, looked like a skeleton. She opened the door and she screamed.
Really?
Like she was scared of what she saw.
I think, you know, I would often tell people that were still going through the process of getting clean, if they ever thought about the nights where their family members cried that they never told you about.
Sure.
Like where they just cried and were hurt for you. Did you ever get a sense or ever talk to any of them about that? Or did they ever tell you the extent of that?
Of what the pain I caused them?
I wouldn't necessarily say the pain you caused them, but the pain of knowing or not knowing how you're doing. Does that make sense?
Yeah, for sure. So I know one time I called my mom from jail, and she was like, good, now I can get some rest. I know where you're at. I would say the question you're asking me, I've never had that talk with my family, but the first time that hit me is when one of my friends went to jail, and I was sober, and I couldn't have contact with him anymore. And it made me think, man, this is what I've done to my parents and my sister for all these years.
It was a catalytic moment. Like
Big time.
Boom.
Like it hit me. It struck my heart. Okay, this is what I've been putting them through.
Yeah, that's good. I'm good that you got to see that.
Sure. Yeah. See the other side of it.
Yeah.
Right.
Man, that's amazing.
If you can't tell, John, I'm a pretty open book, bro.
Yeah.
You know,
You've been through a lot.
Yeah, and it is what it is. Like my wife, we were talking the other day, she's like, how do you not get upset about stuff? I was like, I mean, when both your parents are dead, you've been to prison 4 times, you really ain't going to trip on too much. Yeah. You know, if it's not going to bring me death or get me locked up, I'm not going to worry about it. It's going to be okay.
Yeah.
You know, the Lord will bring us through.
It takes a journey to get there, though. I think a lot of people, and you said it early on in the interview, like people see you now, like, I don't see that.
Yeah.
It takes that journey to get you to here, and people don't
does.
see that. And a lot of people that are in addiction don't see that. Like, they see you and they're like, I want to be you.
But they don't
understand the work that you got to get there.
They don't understand the 13 years to today.
Yes.
Yeah, they don't get that. And I think once they start stepping out to do that work, it's actual work.
Yeah.
And it's a daily walk, and it's a daily denying yourself, and it's a daily not doing what you want to do. It's a daily, every day.
It's that one last time where you almost lose it, like
and you push through.
Yes, to have the will to push through that.
The will, the faith, the belief, and if they would push through that, there's so much more on the other side.
Absolutely.
You know, the worst day of this life is better than the best day of my past life.
I think people that are going through situations like this, I tell them it's going to get worse before it gets better.
Yeah.
You got to understand that. Like, it's not just because you're in jail, it's not rainbows and butterflies. Everything's going to get right. No, it's going to get worse before it gets better. And once you get to that better part, you got to stay there. You got to figure out how to stay there.
You keep on pushing.
Yes.
Yeah, and it's not going to look like what you think it's going to look like.
Absolutely.
You know,
I think that's where a lot of guys, like, some of them get stuck at. Is like, this isn't the way I wanted it.
I remember the first time I went back to do my training to go back into the prison. Mm-hmm. We went to the Telford unit, and we had a little break. And I remember looking at the window at that prison. I said, oh, Lord, I don't want to go back. I spent my whole life trying to stay out of prison. Now you're trying to send me back. He's like, that's where I want you to go. I said, okay, well, that's where we'll go. That halfway house I went to, so I got there on a Friday night. That next Monday morning, we had our first Bible study as a group of men. And at the end of that Bible study, 2 guys got into a fist fight. And one guy got kicked out of the program.
Yeah.
I saw that dude a couple months ago in the prison I go to and preach at.
As an inmate?
As an inmate. Yeah. And he looked at me, he's like, Adam? Yeah. Like, I only saw him like 3 days. He was like, yeah.
What goes through your heart when you see that?
Oh, man, hurt for that individual. Because I know what he's been going through the last 13 years. Because I went through it for 20 before.
Yeah.
You know, and he looks at me, he's like, oh, Adam, you're doing it, aren't you? I was like, man, I'm just trying to live for the Lord. I don't know what doing it means. I'm just trying to live for God.
What about now as far as church or ministry? Are you preaching somewhere now?
So right now I lead a ministry called the Word and Worship, and we do all outreach.
What was the name of it again?
The Word and Worship.
Word and Worship.
Yeah, and so we do all outreach. Like the first Friday of the month, we go to Longview Hills Nursing Home,
Okay.
and that was a nursing home my mom was in while she
Oh.
was battling cancer.
Okay.
So I got a quick story about that.
Okay.
So, mom's battling cancer. She's not doing good, and she gets put in this nursing home. And it's a nursing home. It's real dab,
Right.
real dark. So I go and I buy her some stuff for her room, like just some cutesy cats and like one specifically like this green cute frog I bought her.
Yeah.
And so she passes. It's been a couple of years ago now, and the Lord says, "I want you to start preaching and doing a church service for the people at the home." I was like, "I don't want to go back in there. That's not good memories in there." He's like, "That's where I want you to go." So the first service we had, we finished it, really good service.
Excuse me.
We're cleaning up, and on top of the piano that my worship guy was playing was that frog.
Wow.
And I look at this frog and I said, "Lord, what are you trying to show me with this frog?" And he said, "Adam, this was the plan all along. And I've found that the Lord will always send me to places I don't want to go because that's where he really wants to show me who he is." And so as far as ministry goes, I go to the places that I would say probably aren't real common for pastors to go to. I've been ordained for about 6 years from Pastor Tom at LifeBridge and my spiritual father, Pastor Emmett in Marshall, who ran the program. But it's been a very different type of pastoralship. Like I've been an associate pastor twice so far in the last 7 years, and it was really good. I learned a lot, but just right now, that's just not where the Lord would have me.
Yeah.
I think in my 50s, he'll probably get me there inside
When
of
you,
a
when you
church
slow
house.
down?
When I slow down, but right now.
Yeah.
So the first Friday of the month, we do Longview Hills Nursing Home.
Uh-huh.
The second Sunday of the month, we do Highway 80 Rescue Mission.
Okay.
Cook for the guys, serve the guys, and then do a service. The fourth Saturday of the month, we go to House of Hope, and we do a service for the ladies there. And then the first and the third Monday of the month, we go to ETTF prison
Right.
and do a service for those guys.
That's pretty amazing.
It's awesome, man. It's
Yeah.
really I really love where God has me right now.
We're part of a church called Motion Church here in Longview.
Yes, sir.
It would be amazing for you to visit one day. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't want you to be a part of it. I mean, not that I want you to
Yeah.
be.
I've
But it
been
would be great
before.
for you to. You have.
Oh, I know some
feel
people
like
that
you
go there.
have. I don't remember you. I don't remember really anybody.
It's all right. Well, if you did remember, you wouldn't remember her name anyway, would you, John?
What's her name? What's her name? Who's this?
I know. Let me see.
I
Obviously,
do know, but it's hit or miss. My
Yeah.
brain.
It depends on how many times you've met him.
No, it doesn't. It's just sometimes I don't remember his name.
Bless his heart. That's not even right, man.
No, it's I don't know, man. I might have dementia or something. Well, do you remember the person's name?
Yeah. So Jose Gomez is one. Casey Fields.
Yeah.
Cody Knight.
Yeah.
I used to work right down the way from Shelley Reed.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So I know some people there. Yeah.
Cool. I know some of those know you, man.
Yeah.
And when I started asking they either didn't know you or they were like, dude, I'm glad you got him. He has a great story. I'm like,
Yeah.
So then I started thinking, okay, man, I'm excited to hear it. And
Right.
I didn't want to ask any further because I want to know directly if it's the first time I'm ever hearing.
Sure.
it.
Amen.
So I'm pretty happy that it's extremely, but it's nothing like I expected, but extremely far more insightful and better. And for you to overcome everything that you did is amazing. And I think that the route that you're taking, there's so much more, so much more. And hopefully that God keeps showing you where you need to be. Is there anything you want to say to anybody before we move on?
Yeah. If there's anybody listening to us that's suffering with addiction,
Yes.
yeah, I really want to encourage them to find the help. If nothing else, find me.
Yeah.
And I'll help you find help. If I can't help you or lead you somewhere, I will find somebody that can and will, because the life that you're living is not the life you have to live.
Thank you.
We have so much more of a calling on our life than being high.
Yeah.
And the calling on our life is to know the Lord. It's not about being sober. The sobriety just comes with knowing God.
Yes.
And so if anyone is out here listening to this that is suffering with addiction, I pray for you and I beg you to reach out and find that help that, one, you deserve, and two, that God wants you to find.
Amen.
Amen.
What do you tell the guy who's in that triggered moment like you were? What do you tell that guy?
So he doesn't go out and use?
Yeah, like that guy that's been doing so well,
Mm-hmm.
just like you were,
Yeah.
who finds himself in that moment where nobody will know. What do you tell that guy?
Put your trust in God. Cry out to the Lord. Fight. Fight for that sobriety. Fight for that new life. That enemy comes to steal, kill, and destroy. And so we got to come home. Like John, every morning I wake up, I kick that enemy in his teeth, and I punch him in the face all day long. And when I go to sleep sober, I kick him in his mouth again, and I wake up and I do it all over, every single day. And that's why I'm here 13 years later, because it's my intent to shame that devil and try to get as many people away from him and closer to the Lord as I can.
If today was your last day on earth, what advice would you give humanity?
What would I give humanity?
What advice would you give?
Love people. We don't have to be the same. Just because you don't agree doesn't mean you don't have to love.